Strategy and complaints are easy. Execution is hard. After I decided to join the Marines, I had a string of movies, just a list. I called them my motivation movies, and they would just get me amped up, pumped up to head off to boot camp. Now I would pick one of my favorites. One of my favorites was Men of Honor, and I would throw it in. I'd kick back and relax and just watch it. And towards the end of that movie, there would be this scene where the hero was victorious, and I would take that feel good moment and I would apply it to what I felt like it was gonna to be to graduate boot camp. And I got this feel good moment, but not actually doing anything. And most importantly, I felt validated in my choice to head off to boot camp because I knew that it was going to feel that good. It was just going to feel that good to go off and do it. And anybody that's ever completed a goal that they felt was worth doing knows that the strategy is the fun part. That's the fun part. The execution, though, that's the tough stuff. And so as long as you're still planning, you've got a great excuse for not doing, which also feels good, which is kind of it's part of the problem. In strategy mode, you get to kick back, feet up, think about how good it's going to feel, but most importantly, you don't have to do anything. But you feel good about it, which is it's counterproductive because you get all those feel good, that boost of endorphins, that boosted emotional high, but you don't have to exert any of the effort. I mean, why would you do anything after that point? The feel good moment, not actually exert any effort. Why would you leave that spot? And so right now, if your life isn't hard from execution of the task, it's time to check in and see, are you in strategy mode? Because there's a good chance right now, if you're just spinning your wheels, feeling like you're working really hard, but not actually moving anywhere, you're just in strategy prep mode. You're just giving yourself pep talks every day about what you need to do, but you're not actually doing the thing. And if you're feeling like you're working hard, but never actually doing it, this is all of the people out there talking about doing the thing, but not actually doing it. And right now, I just want to point out too, because some people think this is one of the best. This is one of the favorite hiding spots. Some people think right now you don't know what to do, so you can't even plan for it. So you're not in strategy mode yet because you just don't know what to do. It's one of the best places to hide in strategy mode. It's one of the favorites. The plan of not having a plan because you can't have a plan for the thing that you don't know what to plan about because you don't know where to go is exhausting to even think about. In fact, just talking about it, I'm like, well, we've already talked about it enough. Let's just do it again tomorrow. And you get exhausted. You feel like you're burning everything, but you're not actually doing anything. It's the perfect excuse for not doing anything because I just don't know where to go. So you set a strategy in place about how to look for what you need to do next. Then you have the perfect cover for not doing anything at all. Nobody could argue it. Nobody could fight it. Now, if strategy and execution of the daily task, if you're not executing daily and strategy isn't your thing, there's a good chance the thing that's holding you up is complaint mode. You're in complaint mode. Your current belief system is that right now, the thing that you cannot do in your life is because of something outside of your control. You got a thing that's holding you up. There's a hurdle there that's outside of your control. So you complain about it as if that thing is actually in your way and there's nothing that you could do. And the reality is that complaint is a feel-good shield. I mean, you really get to hold up that armor. You tell all your friends, your family about it, and then they validate it to you, and you feel great because it's not you. It's not your thing. You don't have control over that. And I bet right now, if you listed off your friends, you knew who you could call, you could list off immediately 2 to 3 things that you know they're going to tell you. You know what they're going to say. You're going to complain, and they're going to say this. You'll feel great. And I'm not knocking your friends, by the way. They do it. They mean well. They actually mean really well. But this cycle, it ends up being a bunch of complaints that end up with validation, which is essentially handing out heroin to a bunch of addicts. It just doesn't work. The addicts, and that's you complainers out there, by the way, you're the addict. You're going to go somewhere to get your next fix. And your friends know that. So they might as well just give it to you in the safety of their own home. Just tell you, here's your fix, here's your thing. And they give you that fix. They validate it. In either case, you're in one of those 2 camps. Strategy camp, talking about all the things that you know need to be done while not actually doing them, or you're in complaint camp, complaining about all the things that you can't do because it's not your fault. And so you complain about them. And we spend all of our time complaining about the things, not actually doing it. And those of you right now, some of you are in execution mode. You're like, what are we talking about? Why would anybody do these 2 things? Just keep doing your thing. Don't worry about complaint mode, strategy mode. Keep working, keep hustling. But imagine right now your goal was the gym. And if you're in prep mode, you've been prepping it. You've been thinking about Which gym should I head to? Which one's too close? Which one has the most traffic? Which one has the less people at the gym? Which clothes should I wear? And what if I start running? What shoes should I bring if I wanted to start running anyway? Best thing you can do if that's you, tomorrow just do the thing. Sign up, head out to the gym, doesn't matter, pick one, just go. Feel how good it feels to actually do the thing, to do the doing. Find comfort in knowing that the answer you need is only going to come from a question that you get 10 steps into this journey. And the only way you learn that question is by truly starting. But you have to step forward. That's the irony of it. The question you actually need, you only get by doing the task. And if you're in complaint mode, if you're complaining about it because something's preventing you from doing it, excluding those strategy planners above, if it's anything other right now, figure out who it is. If your excuse right now is anything other, if it's anything other than I'm lazy and I'm not doing it, you're in complaint mode because it's just you. And there's a great Tony Robbins quote where he points out if you can't put your fingerprints on the problem, you'll never find your fingerprints on the solution. And so if you're complaining about whatever it is that you just say you can't do, the best thing you can do right now is identify where are your fingerprints on this? Where are your fingerprints on this problem that you have in your life? Because once you have your fingerprints on the problem, whether it's just something you've been allowing it to persist, or you do identify where you actually influenced it, once you have that, you have your next action step. You actually know what you need to do. Your next step is to do that thing, to remove your fingerprints from it. Because then you can actually see it. You can actually see where you're influencing your own problem, and that's where all your power is. That's where all your power is. So once you get it, step immediately into it. Take action immediately. And so at the end of the day, the opposite of being stagnant is movement. And if you're stagnant, it means you're not moving. So the goal is to get moving, to step forward in one direction. Even if you don't know that that's the right direction, even if you don't know that this is the place to head, step forward, move in it. Worst case scenario, you're going to uncover and realize this was the wrong direction. Like this was not it. And that's great because you actually can confidently say, this is not it. It's not a game plan. It's not strategy. You know, this wasn't the place. And then you wake up the next day and you do it again. You step forward in another one, confident you're going to learn what's going to work or what's not going to work. And then you keep up that process. In any case, you start to build up that movement muscle where you're just constantly moving, moving, moving. But you know that once you figure out actually what you need to do, once you've gone through that process of elimination, crossing off everything that you can't do, everything you don't need to do, you then know that you're going to take steps heading in that direction because you've been having movement. You've been moving forward and you're so used to taking that step that that's not going to be a problem. That's not going to be a holdup for you. Find your place of action and step forward into it. Then learn from it and step forward again.